How's it going, ladies and Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Zero Escape VLR. This might be the last episode. I actually thought the last episode would be the last episode, but this might be the last episode now. We've got a new destination. We're heading back to the future. I don't know. Let's just see. AB game. Round 3, Ally. Here we go. And now, Akane should still be alive. In theory.
Oh, looks like you're awake.
Am I? Is this the infirmary?
Why are we here?
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but...
We waited and waited, and the two of you never returned.
So we went to the warehouse to check on you.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
I looked over at fire mid-rise. You remember what happened just now?
You mean what happened a long time ago?
Yeah. You got him pretty good, huh?
Huh. Yeah, I remember all right.
You kicked the shit out of him.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
Walk.
What am I? Chopped liver?
Alice.
Back among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks.
Grandpa told me what you did. Thanks for finding the medicine for us.
No problem. All in a day's work. Although I wouldn't mind a little swimsuit action.
Really grabbing at straws here, aren't you?
Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. That was an offer for Alice.
Not really my point.
She's already wearing less than a swimsuit as it is.
Oh, whatever. Forget about that. Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
It says 10. I have 10 BP.
I've got 15 BP. That means I got 6 more points while I was out.
But how?
You've been asleep for more than 2 hours. We've played the AB game 3 times.
3 times?
Yes. Of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time. But no matter who voted, everyone chose Ally. And now all of us have enough to leave.
You can't leave though, Luna. Can you? When your brain's here. Right? I was stunned. How had everyone cooperated long enough to raise all our BPs past 9? Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Without a death to start things off, maybe we'd be less suspicious of one another? Or could the bombs have had something to do with it? We'd all joined forces against Dio, and Fire and I had been able to disarm all of them. All of us had banded together against a common enemy, and overcome a tremendous threat. Perhaps it had strengthened our bond. Which I had to admit would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. It must have been what Akane was talking about.
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
Come on, let's go! Let's open the door and get out of here!
Wait, what about him? After some discussion, we decided to leave Dio behind. Alice was the only holdout. She complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors, but after I mentioned that they'd come back to investigate after we escaped and dealt with Dio, she reluctantly complied.
Alright, let's get going.
So it's gonna be like the hellscape that we saw last time we went outside. It's not good out there. And then what? I think we should stay here. Everybody ready? I'm gonna open it.
Yes.
Although we're
just
already
get
sick
on with
anyway.
it.
Everyone else swallowed and nodded. I grabbed the lever and pulled it down. Yeah, we've all got Radical 6 already. Well, except Alice and Quark, because they've been healed. But the rest of us haven't. So I guess we're eventually going to go crazy and kill ourselves.
The number 9 door has been opened. It will remain open for 9 seconds.
Alright everybody, let's move. I didn't need to tell him twice. The room inside was clearly a loading elevator. It looked sort of like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. We ran to the center of the plate and turned around. The number 9 door stood wide open.
2, 1, 0. The number 9 door is closing.
Did Luna come out? Curious. I hope Luna's okay.
The number 9 door has closed. This ends the Nonary Game. Thank you for your participation. As the game is over, all doors other than the number 9 door have been unlocked.
We don't know the point of this place still. Or who Zero is. Because Akane said that she's not Zero. She's Zero's assistant. Kay's dad was Zero. We still haven't got Kay's armor off either. We've seen that key. And Kay looked like us. Why? There's too many questions. There's too many questions. Maybe we won't find out half of it until the end of the next game. Until after Zero Time Dilemma. I don't know. It's going to be a while before we have a chance to get into Zero Time Dilemma, because we've got so many games on the go, or that I need to cover between now and then. But we will get into it. I promise.
Looks like we did it.
This might take a while.
Yes, we should keep moving.
Beyond the door was a wide hallway that ended in a very solid wall. To the left we found a very familiar looking door. We pushed it open and went in. Ah, yes. Well, we have been outside once before. The pressure exchange chamber.
You know what this place is?
Yeah, sort of. This whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep the air outside, and consequently the virus from getting inside. That means that if we go out, we have to decompress so we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where you prepare to go into the actual pressure exchange room. You see all those suits along the wall? I figure we need to put those on and head down to the decompression room downstairs.
Whoa! Hold on a minute! You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Of course, according to Akane, we were all already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless.
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they?
No, that's not possible.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Let's go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
What if that armor will protect you from it? You've never been sick.
All right.
No one else objected. We all donned the protective suits and headed downstairs to the decompression room. It's go time. As soon as we were all inside, the process began. Through my helmet, I could hear the soft hiss of air being sucked out of the room. We stood there for several minutes, waiting for the process to finish. At last it did, and we heard the door behind begin to open, sorry. Beyond it was another decompression chamber. We repeated the process 2 more times before we reached the final door and opened it. Yep. The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before in another timeline. The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visors of their helmets, I heard more than a few gasps over the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there, astonished,
are we?
The desert, I guess?
I figured that out. I mean, which one?
I don't know, but I think I know what day it is.
Hmm?
Look at the moon.
The eclipse.
It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse.
So?
Remember the astronomy magazine in the lounge? Well, the next eclipse like this was gonna be on December 31st, 2028. So...
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
I think so.
Wherever we were, must have been far away from any city. The air was clearer than I'd ever seen it. And the stars. The sky was full of them, more stars than I'd ever seen in my life. I could even spot a hazy arm of the Milky Way. But the most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive, much bigger in fact than I remember it being. Then as I watched, a black spot began to move across its surface. It was hard to see details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the moon, heading for the right edge. What's that?
The moon. Well, the moon's shadow, actually.
The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense.
Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too. And I agreed, like an idiot, and brought Quark with me. Just so I could see her. Such an idiot. So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow.
What the hell are you saying?
Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
The Earth?
That's Earth?
Yeah. It's not the red moon you get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse. Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon, covering the sun.
And we're on the moon. What? No way. If that's the Earth, then where the hell are we?
The moon, of course. This is the lunar surface. We were just inside a moon base.
No way. No, you've gotta be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do
Yeah.
you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. So what's this?
Something to do with the suit, I guess? She picked up a rock and dropped it.
See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yes, it looked that way.
Luna?
You were right about the gravity in a way. I was one of the people who knew this wasn't Earth. Well, I suppose I'm not people, if we're being honest, but
Excuse me?
please just listen. Alice, you were infected with Radical 6. Then we gave you the Accelevier, which cured you. The Radical 6 isn't completely gone, though. Some of its symptoms stick around for a while.
What symptoms?
Well, Radical 6 can slow down your brain's processing speed by the root of 1/6. It can take a while for your brain to get back up to speed. Every one of us has been infected. In other words, all of our brains have been processing information at a much lower speed.
That's my excuse for not being able to solve puzzles. Because I'm only processing at 1/6 of the normal speed.
If you evaluated the root of 1/6, you'll get a number close to 0.408. That means our brains are running at something slightly less than half speed. As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's. The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional to the square root of the gravitational acceleration. Since the gravity is lower on the moon, that means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical. Let me give you an example. Say you drop an apple from a height of 4.9 meters. It will take approximately 1 second to hit the ground. On the moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6, which would be approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely, but it could be anything. constant is, well, a constant. You could drop something from 10 centimeters or 10 meters and it would be the same. Does that make sense? So now we've established that on the moon, things fall root 6 times slower than they do on Earth.
Same as your brain's processing.
That being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 1/6? To them, 2.45 seconds would feel like 1 second. 4.9 seconds would feel like 2. But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us.
Wait, you're saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity?
Are you
So to an
sure?
outside observer, like Akane, I guess, when they were watching us solve puzzles, it would have been like, watching people like, not know what the fuck is going on.
Think back. Huh? You and
Just like real life.
I said something about it in the lounge. About how you felt weird.
It's kind of like my body isn't really mine. I'm sort of floating. Like that?
It seemed insane, but what Luna said made sense. In fact, it explained Fi's apparent superhuman strength quite well. Why is she the only one who can do that, though?
Wait, this is crazy. That can't possibly be Earth out there. Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth and it's blue and green and beautiful. That thing is just red.
Before we get into that, I should probably tell you something. This isn't New Year's Eve in 2028.
It's way in the future, right?
Today is January 27th.
In 29.
No.
Don't tell me. 30?
Still no.
Then just what year is this?
It's 74. 2074.
No. That's insane. That would mean we were abducted for more than 45 years ago.
I don't blame you if you don't believe me, but it's the truth.
How can you be sure?
It's not that hard. Quark and I left Earth on January 23rd, 2074. Solar eclipses are easy to predict. We've known that there'd be one on the 27th for a long time. That's just science. Nobody can change that.
But why is the Earth red?
That's a long story.
Apocalypse?
About 45 years ago, on April 13th, 2029, there were 18 annihilation reactors operating in various parts of the world. On the 13th, all 18 of them went up, all at the same time. The explosion was about 180,000 times as powerful as the atom bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
What? Why?
I suppose it started a few months before that. The government had a test site for a future Mars mission out in the middle of Nevada. On December 31st, 2028, there was an accident. Well, accident doesn't quite convey the right sense of the thing. The point is, Radical 6 claimed its first victims there, then escaped. Didn't take long for it to spread to the rest of the world. Like Luna explained, the virus slows your brain down.
And no one could maintain the reactor, so they exploded?
Eventually, it also makes you kill yourself. Pretty soon, the bodies started to pile up. Some people would take a dive off a building or shoot themselves in the head. You know, the classics. But for some, it was
The
poison,
classics.
or fire, or asphyxiation, or the noose. Plenty of people jumped in front of trains or cars. One pilot on a passenger airline drove his plane into the ground. Most forms of transportation ground to a halt pretty fast. That meant food couldn't get distributed, and thousands of people who weren't even infected died from starvation. Everywhere you went, there were just piles of corpses, covered in flies and rats and crows. I don't know what hell's like, but I imagine it's a lot like that. After a while, people who managed to avoid getting infected started trying to get in touch with one another. They got a hold of some radios and organized a couple meetings. There was only one thing to discuss, of course. How could they get rid of Radical 6? The answer, they decided, was purification.
That's brother in them.
They figured they could just roast the surface of the Earth and that'd kill the virus off for good. 2029, they put their plan into effect. That plan was to detonate all 18 annihilation reactors. Now the truth is, that's mostly just rumor. Nobody really knows what happened, but I've got my own theories. I think that the bombers had already been infected, and when they died, they took billions with them. The ultimate if I die, you're coming with me gesture, I suppose. I'd bet you money they'd all lost it long before they got to the reactors. Killing most of the world, no matter how bad things had gotten, was not a sane plan, even if it wasn't directly responsible. Radical 6 killed most of the people on Earth. Anyway, why it happened isn't that important. Point is, it happened. You ever heard of nuclear winter? Well, that's basically what we got. The explosion threw a ton of crap up into the stratosphere, where it joined up with smoke and ash from all the fires. It blotted out the sun for 7 years. Plants withered, and animals died by the millions. The few humans who were left banded together to survive. They were rough times. Eventually they were over, though. The sky cleared and the sun came back. Plants started blooming again, and the animals that hadn't died out completely began to reappear. Things weren't quite back to normal, though. It's been 45 years now, but there's still quite a bit of dust and ash in the air. That's what you're seeing. You know why a sunset's red? Well, this is the same thing. Blue and green light have short wavelengths, and they scatter when they run into debris in the air. Red light, on the other hand, has a longer wavelength, which means it'll get a lot farther when the air's dirty. So there you are. The Earth looks red because that's the only color of light that can make it through the atmosphere.
Well, that was an interesting story. I was speechless. What could I possibly say? There was no reason for Temioji to lie to us. So we were standing on the moon, looking at the Earth, so we might as well go back in the fucking building. And we can't even go back! The door's locked, and all the food's on the inside. We are boned. It was 2074. But why? Why were we there? Why were we then? I was so lost and thought I barely noticed Fire's approach.
Hey, Sigma. I think I figured something out.
A window popped up on the inside of my helmet, with Whisper in the corner. She seemed to be using a circuit only we could hear. Yeah? What is it?
I figured out why there's an extra E.
In 9th? You mean the graffiti?
Yeah, the one on floor B. I think it's an anagram, just like on floor A.
Yeah, obviously. What's Anna say this time?
God damn it, Sigma! Knock it off! Memento mori if the 9th lion ate the sun. If you rearrange the letters, you get the man on the moon rules the infinite time.
Okay.
See? You need 6 E's to get that, so they stuck an extra one in 9th.
So? The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane. Remember what she was telling us?
We created the AB project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of 2 people into the past. Those 2 people are you, Sigma, and you, Vi.
We need to go back and stop Radical 6 from starting? What are you getting at?
My God, you're slow.
Radical 6, come on.
You don't get it? They're saying we rule the infinite time. Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back.
Yeah, well, that's the advantage of being pulled from 45 years ago, is that we can jump back 45 years, even though we're not even 45 years old. Wait a minute. Are you saying you think they're going to set us back 45 years?
Yeah. I'd bet on it.
So the ultimate purpose of the AB project is to send us back in time to that catastrophe Temioji was talking about.
I think so.
It doesn't make sense though. I mean, we came from that same time period, before it actually... So why bring us here and then send us back?
Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit.
You know where she is?
I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when she gave you the key?
Tu fui ego eris.
Where I am, you are. Where I. The grave. Holy crap! I forgot about the grave. The one in the garden. But we can't get back in
What
there.
are you waiting for? Let's go.
We turned and ran back to the pressure exchange chamber. The others following close behind. But that ninth door closed behind us. We can't get back in.
What are you doing? Did you forget something?
We're gonna have a talk with someone.
Who?
You really need me to spell it out. The person behind all this.
You mean Akane?
What?
Take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
She's his mother. Not really, but, you know.
I'll tell you when we get there. Now, if you please. I'm coming with you. You folks just said the magic word.
Akane, yeah.
I'm going too then. So am I.
Hey, is this Akane you're talking about?
You know Akane. Jesus, we're all fucking connected here.
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're not... You're
Junpei.
serious? What the hell is going on?
You just realized that he's Junpei? Ah, shut up. Just shut up. Come on if you want to. We don't need to do a roll call. Once we get there, Akane can explain everything. Yeah, Clover and Temioji know each other well. With that, we headed back through the airlock. But we can't get through the number 9 door again. Unless Luna can open it for us. Maybe get Luna to do it. If anyone can do it, it's her. How are we opening it? They said that it'll never open again. Plot hole? Is that a plot hole?
Ah, clever. The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends. Assuming Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course. But the door on floor B...
Yeah. Thought we might be able to take the lift to it. And it looks like I was right.
Are you serious?
Any idea where Akane might be?
Yeah, the grave. Which means we could have all left anyway.
You mean the grave in the garden?
Yeah. Don't worry. I don't think she's buried there or anything. Chances are she's alive. Just in the grave. Anyway, let's move. To the garden. Yeah, we saved her. She should be fine. Maybe it opens up a secret room? Ooh. I'd forgotten totally that there was a keyhole in the grave there. We did the garden so long ago. I bet it opens up this,
Is
this
Akane
little
really under
lake
here?
there. I think so.
What should we do? Are we gonna dig her out?
No, I don't think we'll have to do anything like that. You see the keyhole on the grave? If I just insert this here, I pulled the key off my ankle and fitted it into the hole. I twisted it to the right until I heard something unlock. With a quiet grinding, the grave began to shift. Oh, okay, it's there. Oh, it's a pod.
What is this?
So she's frozen there.
It doesn't look like a coffin.
Yeah, it's a treatment pod.
Oh my god.
It is, isn't it?
So it says. The glass on the cover had frosted over, making it opaque. We couldn't see who or what was in it.
Let's see what's inside.
She grabbed the hold of the lever on the side of the pod.
No good. I think it's locked.
What?
Treatment pod TP00. Stage 1 defrosting complete. Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes.
Might as well hang about for 10 minutes.
Once stage 2 is complete, the lock will automatically disengage.
I wonder if Dio's woken up yet. Right, cold sleep. These pods can put people into cold sleep. It uses something called CAS to freeze human bodies without destroying their cells.
So, Mizakane's like an ice cube?
I think so.
And we gotta wait till she melts?
Yep.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay?
Oh god, here we go.
Specifically, why do you know Akane?
I remembered.
What do you remember?
Everything. I was born and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9. A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one.
Of course it
Well,
is.
I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they? In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past.
Back 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding. That's our mission?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you mean?
Let me begin at the beginning.
Okay.
You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this, but that's
Yeah.
not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary. By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories. The puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan. By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential. With that energy stored
We
up,
heard that.
we just had to provide a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Wait, hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi. But what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain. Very well. I will
Go on,
try
then.
and do so in a way you can understand.
Thanks. Thanks for being condescending.
First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028. The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage. Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking. As I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another, which can amplify their power.
That's why you're here, and that's why Tim Miyoji's here.
You understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh? But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform a prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because of your feat of mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline. Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyoji and Quark. Tenmyoji is simple.
He's an expert too.
We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover.
Yeah.
You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you. I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, it headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out, and when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Good, good, good.
Now, Dio. His real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons.
Yes.
He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother. It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago.
Why?
Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier? The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility. They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given two tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed, at least not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan.
Bomb the place.
If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9, hence the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about
Perhaps.
the AB project?
He was also an Esper.
Who?
We can set Brother aside for now, though.
Who's Brother exactly?
May I
Is
proceed?
he someone we know? I bet he is. No one objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself.
Luna's part of the facility, and so are you, kind of.
Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves at a later time. Would that be all right with you, Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility.
Zero's your father, right?
I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma. In another timeline.
Yeah. Well, I saw a hologram. I didn't recognize him, though. So I don't know who he is.
Stage 2 is complete.
Yeah, I don't recognize him.
TP00. Unlocking.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Yeah, let's do it. It's going to be a long episode, people. Oh yes. All of us gathered around the pod. The glass was still covered with frost, hiding the contents.
Okay, let's get started then. Ready?
Fire laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us. I swallowed. Yeah, anytime.
Alright. Here
do
we
it,
go.
man.
3, 2, 1.
Why do you have to make a meal out of everything? Just do it. It's just Akane. We talked to her before. Crap, it's me. What? Suddenly my head was full of memories from the other timelines. I'd seen something like this before. The warehouse on floor B. In front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. I grabbed his mask and saw my own face. I'd never figured out who he really was. Why was there a man with my face underneath Kay's armor? It didn't make sense. After I'd seen him, I was injected with turbocurin and that was the end of that. But wait. If the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor of the warehouse, then who's Kay? Who was wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
You're Akane? No. Oh my god, you're...
Yes, I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
It's you! June! I mean, Akane, from... But you're old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover. Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane. Long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still reeling. Felt like all the air had been knocked out of me. And it was all I could do not to collapse right there and then.
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse? Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did at least. I carried your bodies to the 3rd AB room, and then took Dio's to the 5th. After that, I went into the 1st room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you. And then Luna took your body to the 6th room. You couldn't have been in Kay's armor.
It was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat. Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
What the? That's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct.
And that's Zero, right?
Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Me either.
Total stranger.
Hey, come on, what are you guys saying? Right here? Same face?
Huh?
Are you all right, Mr. Sigma? Did you hit your head or something?
Huh? What? Oh my god, we look like the hologram of Zero, don't we? It didn't make any sense. Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time.
And through bodies?
You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
What does that mean?
Don't you get it?
I'm old.
You've jumped to the future from 45 years ago.
I looked around frantically. A pond. I ran to it and threw myself down onto my knees. Crawling on all fours, I approached the edge. My heart was hammering inside my chest. The cold sweat trickled down my spine. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, damn it. I struggled to take deep breaths. Then slowly, I peered into the pond, looking for my reflection. Zero. What? No, this can't be real. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although, to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
What? No, that's not possible. That's bullshit.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him.
Create?
His name is Kyle Climb, your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future. When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones.
That's why he has the armor?
But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the Nonary Game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
Like an exoskeleton. But why would future me create a
He
clone?
was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place. I
brain
mentioned
hurts.
before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch. That was the chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person? So the whole point of this was to send grown-up, super smart, advanced Dr. Sigma back in time.
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yes. Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028. You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old. Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on, if you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074.
That's when we got out.
That is today.
Whoa, wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact. Have you already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down, so yes, 36 hours of real time have passed. But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes.
That's still enough for a good sleep.
Now comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D.
D, I see that.
April 13th, 2029.
That's when the bombs went off.
You will return to your younger body.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened.
Okay.
The story does not end there, however.
I see that.
The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B.
To C. Oh, B. Where are we? Oh, there. Yeah, I see.
But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal. Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body until you reach point B. Do you remember when B is, Sigma?
When we wake up here. January 21st, 2074. According to what you just told us, it's 36 hours ago.
Correct. That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Into the young body. Point A. December 21st, 2028, the day this all started.
Yes. His consciousness will go back in time 45 years. For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past.
But once their body reaches point D, my 22-year-old consciousness will come back from point C.
That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body
and we'll swap back
and return to your body at
So
C.
old me has to fix the problem before then. So it's rotating.
Rotating? I suppose you could put it that way, but look at this illustration closely. What if you take all these lines and untangle them? You get one single line. It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path. With one exception.
This line here at point E, right?
Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse.
Go on. The day Radical 6 got out of the test facility.
Yes. By now, you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the
I wouldn't
AV
bank on it.
project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to
Yeah.
point A.
To stop it himself.
If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago.
So the old version of me will keep Radical 6 from getting out. By jumping into my 22-year-old body on New Year's Eve, 2028.
Yes, that is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D. In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility.
I'm following the logic, I
That
guess.
is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point, so that we might save humankind from destruction and undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
Okay. Are we just going to live here until, you know, the old version gets to the April? And then we'll go back? Tell me one thing.
What is that?
You said the point C is January 27th, 2074, which is today. There's going to be a jump. And I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But look, I'm still old. When is this jump supposed to happen?
Very soon. Yes.
Soon? And what's going to trigger it?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that. Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot.
Yes, we heard that. And how do you propose to do that?
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain.
What do you
You
mean?
haven't figured it out. I mean this.
Theo's knife? No sooner were the words out of my mouth. Fi! I screamed and leapt towards them. Akane was already in motion, the knife driving towards Fi's chest. I was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. I felt for a cut, but something was in the way. It took me a moment to realize that it was Akane's body lying on top of me. I twisted my neck to look around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was written a few words in Latin. What you are, I was. What I am, you will be. That's it? That can't be it, right? Is that it? What? But we didn't see the world get saved. We can't just leave it like that. Surely, come on. I'm gonna let the credits run out, okay? I'm gonna roll out the credits, and then we'll be back to see if there's anything more at the end. Oh my god. Phi End. A new destination has been added to the flowchart. There's still more. I'm sorry, we need to wrap this episode up here, but there's still more. There'll be another episode yet. I have to know what happens next. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.